Hello friends, welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. Today is another chilly day here in the Ozarks. We ended up letting the fire die overnight in the fireplace, so I am getting up early and getting my boots on to go outside and grab some firewood to get the fire going again. I was trying to show you my boots there. They are not very old, but we have an Australian Shepherd named Ted. You've probably seen him in previous videos, but I don't know what it is. He is drawn to chewing and tearing up my boots. Every pair I own, so I have to actually keep my boots really high up in my closet because if I don't, then he has anxiety problems. And so if we're gone, and he's cooped up in the house, he kind of goes nuts and he takes it out on my boots. So that is why they're looking kind of rough, even though I think they're only like a year old, maybe two. I'm not quite sure, but he tore them up last year and it's just the tongue part. So it's like, I don't want to spend the money and get extra boots, but yeah, I don't know. And it seems like every time I buy them, he tears them up. So we keep our furnace set pretty low in the winter time, so then we can primarily heat the house with this fire in the fireplace. It is double-sided, so we can open up the other side into the living room. However, we tend to not do that as often, especially if we're cooking on the fire. And there are vents though that we can open up on the other side to still get heat on that side. So anyway, it had gotten very cold overnight. So getting the fire going, and this is what our elf did last night. Do you also have an elf in your household? This is something we started back when my older two were super little. I want to say that was like when the elf first came out, and now I kind of regret doing it. It's so much work. However, my older two they're teens now, and they're really great about keeping the holiday spirit going with my younger two boys. So they a lot of times will actually take on the task of doing the elf around our house. I'm going to make use of the fire going this morning, and I'm going to get some cooking done on it. I'm starting with lunch because it's going to take a little longer to get the chicken going. I'm just putting some chicken in a cast iron skillet, and then I will season it and put a lid on it and just throw it on the fire. It will cook low and slow, and by lunchtime, we'll put it in some handmade tortillas or something. I'm not really sure. The sandwiches, something. Maybe they'll just eat it plain. But it's a kind of a quick and easy thing that I often like to do. My kids absolutely love this kind of chicken. I also will just bake it in the oven instead of the fire if it's a warmer day. But they really enjoy having this chicken for lunch. So, and it's pretty easy. You kind of just prep it and then forget about it for a couple of hours. So that is what I'm doing now. I put some oil in the bottom of the pan before I put the chicken in, and I'm just going to season it with salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic. Once the chicken is done, I'll debone it, shred it up, and probably put it on tortillas. That's what I usually end up doing. I'll put some cheese. My kids love it with either like a buffalo sauce or a hot sauce, and then some veggies. Today for breakfast, I'm going to do some simple pancakes and sausage for breakfast. I usually like to make a huge batch of pancakes at one time so I can put the leftovers in the freezer, but we are nearing the end of a grocery budget challenge that I set for myself, so we are out of a lot of things around the house, and I pretty desperately need to get groceries at this point. So I'm finishing strong and I'm just making do with what I have currently on hand. The pancake mix that I usually make has quite a bit more ingredients than this one did, and it makes a lot more. I want to say probably like 3 times as much pancakes, but I did not have nearly as much ingredients this time around. I had this one single egg, so I found a recipe that only needed one egg and just basically everything that I already had. And it was a lot smaller, so I don't have anything to put in the freezer, but that's okay. It made a very quick and easy breakfast, and it's always exciting for me when I can complete a challenge that I set for myself. If you are unsure what I'm referring to, in a previous video, it's a couple videos back, I talked about how I was trying to do another grocery budget challenge for our family. We are a family of 6 and we homeschool, so we are home a lot and we eat 3 meals at home every day. That also includes snacks. So with the price of groceries, a lot of times now I will try to do challenges just to kind of help offset the costs of grocery prices. They are just skyrocketing, it seems like, and it doesn't seem like it's ever gonna go down, but I talk about this frequently. I also talk about this a lot with other friends, and it just seems like a lot of people are struggling with grocery prices and how to make meals that don't have to cost a fortune. Usually, to buy groceries for our household, it's about $300 a week. And that is pretty much without like household things like paper towels or cleaners, soaps, anything like that. That is just like basic groceries. So over the last couple of months, I want to say, I have really tried to kind of set challenges for myself and see exactly what I can do. And I like it because it actually forces me to find new recipes and find new ways of doing things. A lot of times I'll repurpose different things. So I enjoy doing it. It almost feels like you're on Chopped sometimes. I don't know if you're familiar with that cooking show, but sometimes that's how it feels, where like you're at the very end and you need to go grocery shopping and you're like, okay, you're standing in your pantry and you're like, what can I make with this and this? And you come up with some interesting things, but a lot of times they turn out really good. So I think it's fun to do sometimes, but you kind of have to be strategic about it. I also do it for the reason of sharing on here because I know of so many other people that are struggling with grocery prices. So I try to find ways that work for me and then share those ways so that maybe it can help other people too who are struggling with that. But anyway, we are at the very end of this grocery challenge and have basically nothing, because I think before this, I even did a grocery challenge. It was a little bit higher of a budget, but after doing a couple in a row, we're at the point where it's like, oh my gosh, we really have nothing. So I plan on actually going today. I need to get it done and just getting it out of the way, getting what we need. And I'll probably post a grocery haul. If not over this weekend, it will be the beginning of next week. So I'll post a grocery haul so you can kind of see, and I'll also post our menu for next week so you can see what groceries I'm buying for what meals. If you're seeing the hair on the screen, it is driving me nuts too. I have like a wreath thing hanging above the fireplace, and I think my head got stuck in it at some point, maybe when I was doing the fire this morning. And so there is like a strand of hair that is not, I mean, it's like up by the fireplace, but in perfect camera shot, of course. So that is what that is. If you're wondering, it is driving me insane. I also did end up cooking a lot more pancakes and stuff. You just can't really see them because my camera ended up overheating from the fire where it was located on the tripod. And so I had to put it over far into the kitchen away from the heat so it could kind of cool down. But that is why you didn't see as much of the cooking and stuff coming off the fire. But this is what was left after the two younger kids were picking at it. We have this old oven in our wall, and Theo likes messing with it a lot. Not really sure why. It is very cool. It's very interesting. We have basically everybody that comes into our house asks about it. However, it does come on. We're just not really quite sure how to use it. And at some point, if you mess with the dials to turn it on, it can be tricky to get off. So I try not to mess with it as much as possible. A lot of times we'll just use it for storage. I put like little fire starters in there. We also keep our cast iron pots and pans in that. So it's just basically storage at this point. However, it is a feature of the house that I absolutely love having. There are times where, like, if we're trying to keep something warm, we'll put it in there, but we don't really use it. I talked in a previous video about every year before Christmas, I go through my kids' rooms, their clothes, their toys, just basically everything, and declutter and donate as much as we possibly can to make room. My kids get a lot of stuff from us, from family members for Christmas, and I cannot deal with clutter very well. So to be able to mentally handle it, I end up decluttering a lot before Christmas. And I also try to teach my kids to do the same. That way they get in the habit of giving to others when they no longer need anything, and it just kind of sets us up a little better for Christmas time. So that's what we're doing in here. On top of that, my boys are very good about playing and then asking to go play outside, or they get busy with something else and they are too distracted to then clean up after themselves. It is something that some kids can do, and my two younger boys cannot seem to ever fully pick up a mess. They will start picking up a mess after they're done playing, but I feel like I have tried and tried and tried, and they just haven't caught on with that or something. So we are in here cleaning up and getting it nice and organized for them, and also decluttered. I'm moving this bookshelf and putting it in a space where I have never known what to do with, but it was in here holding all of their books and notebooks and stuff like that. And it was a part of their room that I noticed was always a mess. They never could keep up with it. So I'm kind of just removing that, and hopefully that will solve the issue. But it's not really far out of their room. So the books that we took out of this bookshelf, I am going through them and I'll donate. We have a family friend that could really use some donations right now. So I'll be asking her first, and then if not, we'll drop off for other donation. But the rest of the stuff I'll put back on the shelf. They're books. We have other school books, and then there's just other magazines and stuff. So I'm putting that under the stairs. I'll show you in a minute. And then kind of going through their room and reorganizing. Their room has been kind of in a limbo, I want to say, for at least a year. We built these bunk beds because we thought that our youngest son, Hayden, would be moving into this room as well, and that he would have the area over by where their desks and their couches. but then he ended up passing away, and we were left with this huge open area that we didn't really know what to do with. So, and I've still continued to struggle with that, not knowing what to put there. And in the back of my head, it always is kind of a sore spot because I'm like, oh, a baby was supposed to be here. So we bought that little small couch for them, and it doubles as a toy box, so they can put their toys inside of it. And then we found those desks for them. They were from an old school, and we bought them and put those in there. So I don't know, I'm just kind of rearranging and seeing how it all works. And then this is where I moved the bookshelf. We never knew what to put under our stairs, so I put that there, and I'm hoping it continues to work and it's not a wasted space anymore. It's a little later in the evening at this point. My husband's now home and is working on the fire so we can get dinner going on it. We're also doing our evening stuff where we go through different advent calendars and read, stuff like that. My older kids, they often like to come and watch a movie or a show. We are going back through the Goldbergs. It is such a funny show. If you have not seen it, we love it. And my oldest son in particular absolutely loves that show. So oftentimes they come down in the evening and we watch that show while dinner's cooking. And then, like I said, we'll do our Advent puzzle or whatever else we have going on in the evening while dinner's cooking. My younger two boys, particularly Theo, but Lincoln also likes it, they both absolutely love helping with the fire. So my husband and I are constantly teaching them fire safety and how to properly handle it, but that's what they were doing there. They always come in when there's a fire going because they love being a part of it. They like helping cook and stuff like that. And I know that it is so tricky to do that. So we're trying to just minimally allow them to help us, but also teaching them at the same time how to properly do things around a fire. There is a survivalist curriculum. I think it's just like a short-term thing that you can teach with homeschooling. And I think I might actually do that after the new year with the kids, because I think that, one, they would really benefit from that, but also I think that they would really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, especially when we do that so much now as a family since we moved. I think they would really enjoy it. If you have done any of those curriculums and you have a suggestion, I know there's quite a few out there, but if you have a suggestion of one that really worked well for your family that you really enjoyed, or one that didn't, I would love to hear about it. While dinner was cooking, I went ahead and threw together a vanilla cake and then made some chocolate frosting to go on top of the cake. And then, of course, I had to bring my taste testers in to try out the frosting. They both approved. Because I had such a limited budget for this grocery challenge, I think it was less than $100, and so I couldn't really buy snacks this week. I didn't end up really buying snacks. I bought some fruit and some vegetables, but like as far as cakes and cookies and stuff like that, I basically did everything from scratch just to kind of, so my kids didn't really notice as much. So I think I ended up making 3 different desserts this week. This was the third one, and this one ended up being the biggest hit. I think this coming week, though, I won't be doing a grocery challenge. After having so many back to back, we definitely need a lot more groceries this week. So I won't be doing a minimal grocery challenge, but I am still going to try to keep with cheaper meals. And also I'm going to do some little bit different of meals too. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.